What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the first episode of Dead. Excuse me. Welcome to the first episode of Dead Men Tell Tales minisodes. That's right. What we've been talking about in the main Spotify, in the main podcast here, we are making happen. I, Steve, will be your host through this mini series as John is working on stuff here behind the scenes to further boost the podcast. So, with that being said, this season here, this mini series season, oh man, is going to be on the mob hits done by the American Mafia. Some of them you may know, others you may not. I'm going to take you on that journey to learn more about them. Please keep in mind, I'm not a professional historian and I am just doing my research. So what I say, do not go on Jeopardy with and, try to win big. You might, but you might not. And I'm not trying to get beat up because you listen to what I say. So if I get anything wrong, please let me know. Excuse me there. So without anything else, let's get into it. All right. It is November 11th. You are in the Huff Moon Hotel preparing to testify against your boss tomorrow morning. You've been implicated in several murders and figured singing like a canary, that's going to be your best route. What you don't plan on, well, maybe you did, I don't know, we'll never know, is obviously the defendant having the connections and money you didn't think they did, or you did know they had. I, I, I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, you're kind of staring down the barrel at execution. So, but it is what it is. Either way, now you're laying on your back staring at the sky, and the cause of your death is not going to be official for another 10 years. Everybody, meet Abraham Kid Twist Reles. Kid Twist was born in 1906 to Jewish immigrants from Galicia. I hope I pronounced that right, which is now southeastern Poland, western Ukraine. He was born in the Brownsville section of Brooklyn. Now, for those of you that know mob history, know that Brownsville was, well, that's your how would I put this? Your one of your breeding grounds for the American Mafia. A lot of big gangsters came out of the Brownsville area. He attended school until eighth grade, like most kids in those days. School really wasn't the need to have like it is now. So that's kind of where it was. Um, Abe's first arrest came in 1921 for stealing $2 worth of chewing gum. Okay. Now this is 1921. $2 back then was a big fucking deal. So today you probably just walked off with like the whole box of icebreakers. That's what you just left with. For that, he was sentenced to 4 months at Children's Village in Dobbs Ferry, New York. Now, obviously, the Children's Village didn't do jack diddle for straightening him out. Otherwise, we wouldn't be learning about his death by the hands of the American mob. But here we are. Anyhow, as the years went on, Abe became a very talented hitman for Murder Inc., the on-call hitmen for the commission. Now, obviously, the commission, for those of you that don't know, that is the ruling body of the American Mafia. Obviously, when they say, "Hey, look, this person goes," they call Murder Inc. Abe was one of those guys. His weapon of choice was the ice pick, and which we all know how that works. You know what I'm saying? A little through the ear, boop boop. Back in those days, they really didn't do like big autopsies, so unless that's what the person was looking for, chances are you're not gonna find it. Excuse me. And Kid Twist was quite the ruthless fella. He this is messed up. He killed an attendant, a wash attendant, for missing a smudge on his bumper. Killed a damn parking valet for taking too long to get his car. So at the end of the day, needless to say, don't fuck with his car. Like if the man pulls into your wash station, leave. You got sick, you shit your pants, something, leave, get out. Anyhow, he ended up getting into a battle of sorts with a group known as the Shapiro brothers, to which he ended that when he killed all three of them. And now keep in mind, this was over a span of some time. So he wasn't known to just let things go like, oh, I got two of them. It's okay. No, he took out all three of them. Now, this is where things started to go south for Mr. Abe Reles here. He was implicated on several murders. You know, not quite sure how that may have happened. Just out here murking New York's car servicing people, but, you know, no one's going to say anything to that. Probably tens of dozens of witnesses, but no one's going to say anything. Yeah, how else are you going to get fucking implicated? But needless to say, rather than taking murders like the true gangster, he decided to sing like a canary. But again, you know, you're facing execution for murking these people like it's around a Call of Duty. You know, you didn't get a kill streak, my guy. You didn't get that kill streak. You didn't get that. It's not happening. You know, you don't get a cruise missile. What are you thinking? But anyhow, in the process of singing, he implicated bunches of people, several of the higher ups in Murder Inc., one of which being Lepke Buckhalter. He implicated Louis Capone, Mendy Weiss, Harry Mayone, Harry Strauss, Frank Abendondo, and one of his childhood friends, Bugsy Goldstein, all of which were eventually convicted and executed. So at the end of the day, even behind bars, Abe's still stacking them bodies. Now comes the brick wall, though. Abe was set to testify against his boss, the Lord High Executioner Albert Anastasia. Now, keep in mind, most of Murder Inc. was Jewish folk, so they couldn't become made men. Albert, however, was Italian. He could become a made man. He was a made man. Matter of fact, he was a made man in the Gambino, what is now the Gambino family. So, not to mention, he was a made man. Like, he had them connections. And obviously, he was pretty high ranking, so like he had some serious pull on things. The trial was set for November 12th, 1941. November 11th, Abe was in that Half Moon Hotel on Coney Island under guard of 5 officers on the 6th floor. Sometime through the night, Abe decided to make the great escape, and it failed miserably in the worst way for Abe. Next morning, Abe was found on the 2nd floor patio roof. Above him was a 4-foot piece of wire tied to a radiator along with 2 bed sheets. Now, for anybody who's been on the 6th floor, 4 foot, it's not how big a damn room is. How foot what? Now, some people say that he was trying to go down to the floor below and like knock on the window, like, hey, let me in, huh? And surprise the police. That's what some people say. Evidence showed that the wire came loose off the radiator and Abe fell. Others say that he was, how would I put this here? Ushered not so politely out of an unapproved exit by his protectors. Yeah. Also known as the guards grabbed his ass and threw him out the window to see if he could fly. He could not. He could not fly at all. All 5 officers were demoted after they said they fell asleep. I don't know. Personally, I think if I hear someone down by my window, I don't know. You'd think you'd hear that. But hey, who's to say? However, mob lore says that Frank Costello raised $100,000, paid off the guards. In those days, 100,000 split 5 ways. It's 20,000 apiece. That's some change. That's some change for those days. Either way, it would take the government 10 years to officially say that old Kid Twist fell to his death. He is buried in the Old Mount Carmel Cemetery in Queens. So that is the first minisode here we're going to cover. Like I said, we're going to keep doing these things here. We're going to do it by season. I've got, along with this one, another 11 more. So we're going to have 12 this first season. 12 hits done by the mob. And then we'll jump to something else. It might be mob related, might not be. Depends on how I'm feeling. Either way, I hope you guys enjoyed this, learned a thing or two, or just killed time. that's what your goal was, to kill time. I hope you did it. Either way, we appreciate the listen and ask you to do us a favor of hitting that follow button if you haven't already. And make sure you check out the podcast on Spotify for our weekly long episodes. Until next time, everybody, peace.